What does this say about society? Through our research, we have discovered that there is a discrepancy between support offered and support accessed by women. We believe this is because women are stuck between a tall demand to be caregivers and society's idea of individualism. Individualism is the assumption that people have equal opportunity and free choice, and has resulted in an oversight due to a more collectivist expectation on women to fulfill their traditional family roles. In analyzing the socioeconomic context in women's health experiences, we notice that the individualist ideology in society influences the healthcare system's treatment towards women, which impacts the healthcare support accessed by women. In Canada, critical healthcare may be equally available to all residents, but is it used equally by everyone? This is an important question because services are no help to those who don't use them. One study on action taken by women after a heart attack demonstrates this point nicely. Women who had a significant medical event, such as an MI, were interviewed about the factors that influenced their decision to finally seek medical help. The study showed that women's decisions not to access healthcare were based on similar factors. These were broken down to 1. Concern over being a burden, 2. Fear of symptoms being a false alarm, 3. Relating symptoms to past, non-emergent situations, and 4. Anxiety around the surrender of control over their health to another person. Other findings from the study indicated that in a heterosexual relationship, women were more likely to encourage their male counterparts to seek medical care rather than the other way around. Moreover, the women's decision-making process focused mainly on their ability to carry on in their daily lives and duties, even if there was a possibility of them having a health complication, rather than a focus on their personal well-being. The underlying message of the study is that many women have chosen not to seek health care despite it being available to them. Now let's take a look at what services women actually make use of. According to the Biomed Central Journal, women were found more likely to seek healthcare than men, possibly because accessing healthcare services for reproductive reasons makes it easier to access healthcare for subsequent issues. Healthcare generally costs 20% more for women than men per capita. However, women are more likely to receive accessible, less expensive primary care, while men are more likely to receive specialist inpatient care. As well, women report shorter waitlist times than men for specialist care with mental health. But the reverse for conditions such as asthma and other breathing conditions. Significantly reduced mean wait times were also reported for men regarding diagnostic testing. Think back to the study on women's actions following a myocardial infarction. What does this tell us? Maybe the issue of accessibility is overlooked because, according to research papers, accessibility doesn't seem like a cause for concern. The article perpetuates the unspoken concept of individualism in society because women have made use of their free choice to seek healthcare. What are the pressures in women's lives preventing them from accessing healthcare services right away? The majority of society has been raised to accept that women are responsible for taking care of their children, spouses, and elderly parents, making them the primary caregiver. Think of your childhood. Who was it that cooked, cleaned, and entertained when you had company? There's a simple explanation for all of this. History. We're moving away from tradition, and that's great. It's no longer weird for women to pursue their own careers, whereas in the past, their one job was homemaking. The issue today in this transitional phase is that homemaking still is their job. How many of your fathers even considered paternity leave? As well as taking care of family, it is also widely accepted that women are in charge of the cleaning, cooking, and entertaining, all while holding down some form of paid employment. While these views are changing, many of us are brought up in households run by people who grew up in a time when homemaking was the mother's job. The resulting changes have caused a lack of support for women during this transitional phase of stay-at-home mom to career woman. At the same time, we're seeing a rise in population of elderly people as the baby boomers begin to retire and need more healthcare services. In many cases, home health is important because it helps the older persons who wish to remain at home maintain a better quality of life while keeping them out of healthcare and retirement facilities. Let's take a look at the government funding towards families in the Scandinavian countries. In Sweden, the government funds 96% of home health care for the elderly. The other 4% is paid by the elderly, but it's subsidized. In Sweden, the monthly rate for elder care is capped at $260 per month. By contrast, Canadian home health is funded both publicly and privately and delivered by for-profit and non-profit providers. Income is one of the social determinants of health listed in the How to Nurse textbook. When the main caregiver has to leave for work to care for the elderly because he or she can't afford private home health services, which is theoretically better than government-funded senior care, the elderly and the caregiver's health could suffer from a lack of financial support. Now, what about childcare? Well, the Swedish government supports parents and therefore women pretty well when it comes to childcare. Parents with new children are allowed up to 480 days of paid parental leave while receiving 80% of their salary for the first 390 days. Conversely, Canada offers only 245 days of paid parental leave, a condition which has the potential to increase the strain on the mother in regards to seeking care for herself. Another major difference is that every Swedish child automatically has a spot available in daycare. In Canada, current waitlists for daycare can reach over a year, with many parents needing to enter the system before pregnancy has even occurred. As a result, when a woman develops a health problem, she becomes concerned that her family structure and relationship with her family may be disrupted due to her potentially problematic health issues. So what does this mean for society? The issue is more than just the woman fulfilling her role in society over her needs for seeking healthcare. It's the lack of socio-political support from the government that's also hindering the Canadian woman in maintaining both her role and her health. In other words, we need a way for women to feel that they can seek healthcare without the perception of becoming a burden to the other members of the family.